Hello, and how are you? I've got home from Paris, yes. I want to talk to you about a few things. First of all, about what happened before and after the game, and why on Twitter, and I don't tend to be aggressive, and I don't tend to provoke that way at all, but I want to call idiots to those that think that he had to do anything to do with the Liverpool fans. Because this is not about tribalism, this one. It's about fans being treated very badly again.
We're getting told to get to the ground early. From what I've seen, we've all been at the ground early. Some of these people have been outside for 2.5, 3 hours, and it's just chaos because if you turn your camera around to the gate, all they're doing is opening one gate, letting as many 4 or 5 people in at a time. And people are frightened of not getting in, and then they're just shutting the gate. As soon as anybody says anything, they're tear gassing people at the gates. It's absolutely ridiculous. We've been down this road before.
It's shocking. I was on my way to the ground at 6:10. That's 3 hours ago. I've just seen on the screen, due to late arrivals, it's like 1989 all over again. I've just walked out of there now. I've got tear gas in me, and I'm not even being tear gassed. I'm here, my lads there, they're tear gassing fans. Kids, there's children in there, and they're getting tear gassed.
So, those that take it on the side of tribalism, you're an idiot. Oh, I hate saying that, but it's such a clear case of authorities, the police and UEFA, not organising things properly. That's one thing. The other one, about the mystery that is Real Madrid, about the final, and the fact that Real Madrid needed 9 saves from Courtois to win the Champions League, but they did it. And the same way that you saw Liverpool getting those chances and creating those chances, it's difficult to say that Real Madrid did not deserve it, did not deserve the win in the Champions League, having had the season that they've had. It's mind-blowing. And I want to get into that too. But first, let me order a coffee. Right, let's start with what happened outside the stadium, and there is now plenty of evidence that suggests that few things happened. Organisation was bad, the fans were bottlenecked into areas where they shouldn't have been, in the thousands, and the police did not treat fans properly. In some cases, they treated in a criminal way.
Thousands and thousands of fans out there getting tear gassed with tickets, treating them like animals. It's a disgrace. We've seen this before. It's a risk to health. We've seen this, and it's going to happen all again. I can feel it now. Your eyes burn. Yeah. They threw tear gas in the fans.
And I hope that they get at least investigated and something comes out of it. That's the first thing to say. Secondly, there was a lot of local youth that jumped the fences, went in without tickets, and the security wasn't prepared for it. As if they, as I've read somewhere, the organisation decided to save money, and instead of getting the right amount of people for the 40,000 fans that were going to be there, they just cut some corners. But then at the end it got bad as well. During the game nothing happened apart from the fact that there was a flat atmosphere for a long while, and I know that some fans didn't particularly enjoy what was happening, because having created an amazing atmosphere during the day, the Liverpool fans, extraordinary. In fact, let me show you. Well, despite that, what happened already with the delay and eventually fans all coming in, mostly because some didn't enter until the second half, was that there was a bit of a flat atmosphere. So that kind of positive energy that was created, that could have helped Liverpool, that disappeared. But after, that same youth, French youth, not Liverpool fans, started mobbing the television sets. It was easy to access, and there was like Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, Fabio Capello, and many more. And they were mobbed aggressively, in a kind of loving way, but very aggressively. So much so that groups of those television sets panicked and started going all over the place. I've learned since, talking to somebody from Sky Sports, that have a plan when these things happen. You're supposed to stay together. Instead, people spread out, and you could see famous people in the car parks on their own, and eventually just gathering there their colleagues and heading away from the stadium. But those that actually went through public transport, they were mocked, they were robbed by organized mob as well, local. So no police inside, nothing. What a terrible experience. There's a lot of really good information and videos and analysis from, especially from British journalists. As always, the British press, when they get to it, they are really good at digging very deep. And there's a lot of really good stuff out there from Rob Draper, for instance, and many more. Keep an eye on it, because they won't let it go, as is the right to do so. That was that. By the way, lovely tweet from Thibaut Courtois, who has been heard by the criticism from England because he considers it completely unfair. On the back of that debate that we were having about Alisson and Courtois, on my timeline, quite clearly the comments on Courtois weren't fair, and I wonder if some of it got to him, because, and this is funny, because in Spain, I did do in Cope radio, we started doing like who is better in each position, and on goal it was like, well, there's no discussion, so let's go to the right back, because it's Courtois. And I said, hold on a second, Alisson has got better stats in 1v1s, and you know, he plays the ball better with his feet and a few other things, which not everybody accepted, and anyway, I lost that battle, and Courtois went into that combined 11. In England, it's the other way around. I say, look, you haven't watched Courtois, because if you're saying like, there is no argument, it has to be Alisson, there is an argument. Anyway, on the back of it, you know what it is, that in England and in Spain, but let's focus in England. If I was doing this in Spanish, I would focus on Spain. But anyway, the fact is, unless you're in the Premier League, you don't exist, or you don't count, or your merits don't get given. So you have to do a superhero performance for the people to actually say, oh okay. Anyway, we'll have the impression of the last few minutes, perhaps even the last half an hour, or even the second half. Liverpool didn't seem to be at their sharpest, didn't seem to be physically strong. Things that they tried didn't really work. Real Madrid was defending in their own box at the beginning of the game, in the first half, because Liverpool forced them to do so, in the second half, especially after scoring, because they decided to do so. Anyway, Liverpool couldn't beat in the second half that kind of defence often enough. But it was in the second half that Salah had the chance with the amazing save from Courtois. He already had done a lot of work in the first half. I spoke to Modric after the game, and he told me that they did not want to play like that.
Today was about mostly defending and finding that moment for you to score, basically.
Yeah, I think we first half we defend too much. We didn't have too much of the ball. Liverpool was pressing high and they did good, but we stayed calm. We didn't panic. Second half we play much better. We had more possession, and from one long possession we scored that goal. And after was we put body on the lines, we defend well, we fight for each other, and we made it till the end, and we won.
That's a bit the story of the season for Real Madrid. They did not want to play so deep without having the ball, without being able to build from the back. A lot of things that they did not try, and yet, I don't know if you believe in expected goals, but Real Madrid in the knockout stages have lost the expected goals with the rivals, with each one of them, and including the final two, and yet. I love the psychology of football, as you know, if you follow me. Something happened when the disallowed goal took place, because it was the first chance of real chance of Real Madrid. Real Madrid got big out of it, more confident, and Liverpool thought like, oh wow, hold on.
From that disallowed goal, we start believing more, and I think in Liverpool they enter a bit panic. They were not that confident anymore, and from there we build up and we start playing better, and on the end we won.
When Real Madrid, out of the last 25 years, they've been in 8 finals and won the 8 finals. I read in one of the tweets as well, I think it's Colin Miller, saying that since 2001 Spanish teams have played 22 finals and won them all. And I tell you, the one I knew was that in the Spanish-English encounters in Champions League and Europa League and UEFA Cup finals, it's 10-1 to Spain. It tells you that England's still missing something, or English teams, that Spanish teams seem to have, the ability to overcome situations or dictate what the game is about. Amazing that happens. Amazing that Real Madrid win every time they are in a final, or almost in every single time. The last final they lost, I think, is 81 against Liverpool. That tells you that what this team is made of, and we discussed it throughout the week. You know, the logic is, if they've been dominated, the logic is that they think they have been dominated. They don't think that. What they think is, it's okay, I don't care, we will have our moment, our move, our player that will take us closer to win. It's like nobody thinks like that. It has to do with the history of the club. It has to do with the fact that the players that they've got a lot of quality, and they've got as well, obviously, a strong mentality that put together, that belief in each other, that trust in each other, held by performances like Valverde or Carvajal or Modric, or especially Courtois, means that they think it's going to happen any minute. It brings the rival down in a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, in that the rivals think, if we don't score the goal, Real Madrid are just going to have us. The thing is, it doesn't normally happen. What has happened this season, that Real Madrid are so bad, and they require such a defensive performance, and they require Courtois to save them, and then eventually they find a goal whenever the minute that is. That's not normal, but it has happened this season. It's interesting that some Real Madrid fans, when I say this, that they're not about tactics, they're not about pattern. They get upset about that. They want you to say, no, Real Madrid were the best, and Real Madrid brilliant, and Real Madrid... Well, I'm telling you what I see. And what I see is a Real Madrid that, without that pattern, still win, yes. And Ancelotti is the perfect manager for that as well. He's not obsessed about tactics. He wouldn't work the side at all. This is more about managing the players, managing egos, and doing some substitutions that work. Basically, energy, bringing energy into Real Madrid, especially at a time when they need to come back, as they did twice, because Chelsea game was not a comeback. Was actually trying to save their lives. It was Chelsea who came back, and then Real Madrid had to just get the goal that would allow them to go through to the semi-finals. So extraordinary season that had to finish, to make it rounded, had to finish like that. No argument that the season of Liverpool has been extraordinary. It's the only team I remember in my time that every single game they played mattered. Every single game during the season, 60-odd games that they played. That's unbelievable. That's that. Congratulations to Liverpool for having managed to create that kind of winning culture. Congratulations to Liverpool fans, because they were tested big time yesterday and they behaved impeccably, and congratulations especially to Real Madrid for their new victory, and the 9 Real Madrid players that have won 5 European Cups, 5 Champions League, which is, they put the standard so high. Who's gonna do that in the next 20 years? Tell me. Who's gonna do that? 14 titles, so that's more than the next 2 put together, AC Milan and Liverpool, which is like 7 and 6. So now for me, it's a change of gear. As you can see, I'm in Barcelona. It's a little bit sunnier than in Paris, which is cold, especially in the evening. I've got a La Liga TV show to do tomorrow, and that's about it in terms of television. I may do a cameo appearance on 5 Live in the last Euro Leagues, but by then I'm changing gear because I have to prepare 2 books. Got to update the Messi authorized biography, which will come out in September. And also I've been invited to do a chapter of a book on World Cup upsets. I've chosen the Korea-Spain of 2002, and I've got a great story to tell you about my personal experience. I head to the stadium for that game, ended up 250 kilometers away, which deserves an explanation. That's done in a different way. That will be done in the Costa Brava, which is a secret gem of Europe, where I'll be mixing business and pleasure. Then there'll be a break, so I'll be very slow in social media for the next couple of months or so, and then it'll start again. But it's time to recover physically, mentally, my soul as well. Thank you for being there. I hope you have a good break. I hope that what we've been doing, and that's Ari and Aria and Ellie and Ratty and Bren and William and Peter and all the people that helped me, and Maribel too. Well, I hope that it's been entertaining for you, and I promise you we'll get better next season. Meanwhile, I'll leave it here. It's been a pleasure.